Malik was 47 years old when he finally understood a truth that destroyed him. He hadn't failed because he lacked talent. He hadn't failed because he lacked opportunity. He hadn't even failed because of bad luck. He failed because of one word, a small, harmless-sounding word he whispered to himself every single day of his life. For 25 years straight. Tomorrow. Not today. Not now. Tomorrow. And tomorrow, as it turns out, is the greatest liar the human mind has ever invented. Before we go further, if stories like this hit you where it matters, hit subscribe right now. Because what Malik learned in the next 10 minutes could save you 20 years of regret. Let's begin. At 22 years old, Malik had a notebook. Cheap, spiral-bound, the cover already peeling at the corner. Inside it was everything: sketches of workbenches, price lists for oak and pine, a phone number for a lumber supplier written in blue ink, underlined twice. It was a plan for a small carpentry workshop. Nothing extravagant, just 4 walls, a few machines, and his own 2 hands doing what they were built to do. His friend Jerome had the same dream. Less skill than Malik, less patience with a chisel, less of an eye for detail. But Jerome had one thing Malik didn't. Jerome started. That same year, Jerome rented a garage space the size of a bedroom and opened his doors. Malik told himself, "I'll start next month. I want everything to be perfect first. The right tools, the right space, the right amount of savings." Next month came. Malik didn't move. Next month became next year. Malik still didn't move. He wasn't lazy. That's the part people always got wrong about him. He worked hard every single day. He clocked in at a furniture warehouse at 6 a.m., lifted boards until his shoulders screamed, built shelves and cabinets and tables for someone else's company, under someone else's name, funding someone else's dream while his own sat folded in a drawer. Years passed the way water leaves a cracked bucket, quietly, a little at a time, until one day you look down and it's simply gone. At 25, Malik was still telling himself the same story. Once I have more saved up, once things settle down, once I feel ready. At 27, something happened. That felt like progress, but was actually the opposite. He got a raise. Not a big one. Just enough to ease the ache. Just enough to make the warehouse bearable. Just enough comfort to quiet the voice that used to whisper, "Go. Start. Now." That's the part nobody warns you about. Poverty pushes you to move. But comfort convinces you to wait. At 29, Jerome's one-room garage had grown into a real shop with a sign out front and 2 part-time employees. Malik visited once, stood outside for a long moment, watched Jerome laughing with a customer through the window, then got back in his car and drove home without going in. At 31, Malik still had the notebook. It had moved from his backpack to his nightstand, to the bottom drawer of his dresser, buried now under old utility bills and a warranty card for a toaster he no longer owned. He started avoiding that drawer entirely. Some nights, lying in bed, he'd think about it. He'd get up, walk to the dresser, put his hand on the handle, and stop. Not tonight. Tomorrow. He'd think about it tomorrow. With a clearer head, more energy, better timing. The most dangerous trap in life isn't poverty, and it isn't failure. It's comfort. Just enough pain to make you dream of something better. Just enough safety to make sure you never actually reach for AT38. Malik's father called him over one Sunday afternoon. The old man was sitting in his usual chair by the window, hands thinner than Malik remembered, eyes tired in a way that had nothing to do with sleep. "Sit down, son," he said. "I need to tell you something before I don't get the chance to." Malik sat. "I said tomorrow for 30 years, his father said quietly. 30 years, Malik. I was going to open my own tailor shop. I was going to take your mother to see the coast. I was going to do 100 things. Tomorrow. I'm 71 now. And I promise you, tomorrow does not wait for anyone's permission. It doesn't care how ready you feel." Malik nodded. He said all the right words back. "You're right, Baba. I hear you. I'm going to change things." He meant it, too, in the moment. That's the cruel part. He wasn't lying to his father. He was lying to himself, the way he always had. 2 weeks later, he was back at the warehouse at 6 a.m., back to the same routine, the same fatigue, the same drawer holding the same notebook, untouched. This is the quiet tragedy that destroys more lives than any single failure ever could. It wasn't that Malik never heard the truth. He heard it clearly, straight from someone who loved him. The tragedy was that hearing the truth wasn't enough to move him. A warning without action is just noise the mind erases by morning. His father passed away 3 years later. At 74, at the funeral, going through his father's things, Malik found an old and used toolbox in the closet, bought decades earlier. Tags still faintly visible on the handle, for someday, written in his father's handwriting on a piece of tape stuck to the lid. Malik stood there holding it for a long time, saying nothing. At 47, the warehouse Malik had worked in for over 2 decades installed automated lifting systems. Half the floor staff, Malik included, was let go within a month. No warning worth mentioning. No severance that would last more than a season. He sat in his kitchen that night, the notebook in front of him on the table, 25 years old now. The spiral bent, the ink faded to a pale ghost of blue. The corners softened, torn from being opened and closed 100 times over the years. Always at night, always alone, never followed by action. And that's when it hit him. Not sadness, something sharper than sadness. Clarity. He had spent half his life protecting a dream from failure by simply never attempting it. As long as the notebook stayed in the drawer, it could never fail. It could stay perfect, untouched, safe. But it could also never become real. That night, Malik didn't sleep. He sat at that kitchen table until sunrise. And he rewrote the plan on a fresh piece of paper. Smaller this time. No storefront. No employees. Just him, a folding table, his tools, and a phone number people could call. Not perfect. Just possible. The next morning, for the first time in 25 years, the word tomorrow meant something different in Malik's mind. It wasn't an excuse anymore. It was a start date. 3 weeks later, Malik set up a folding table at the edge of a local market. A few hand-carved pieces, a small handwritten sign, and his phone number taped to the corner. It wasn't the workshop from the notebook. It wasn't Jerome's storefront with the sign out front and employees inside. It was smaller, humbler, and 25 years later than it should have been. But it was real. And real, even small, beats perfect that never existed. Some nights, closing up his folding table, Malik allows himself to think about what those 25 years could have built if he'd started at 22 instead of 47. A quarter century of mornings. A quarter century of mistakes he could have made early, learned from early, and grown past. That's the true cost of tomorrow. It's rarely the failure itself. It's the compound interest on time you can never earn back. If this story reached you today, don't let it end here as just another video. Whatever is sitting in your own drawer right now, a plan, an idea, a phone number written in blue ink, start it this week. Not perfect, just possible. If Malik's story moved you even a little, subscribe now. Because next week's story might be the one that finally changes everything for you.